This is the experienced optimist, and I want to talk about how women change over time. There are a lot of guys who think that the women they get with are these perfect little angels. In the beginning, they can do no wrong. The woman is the most beautiful person that they've ever laid their eyes on, and the way she acts. And then later on, that woman becomes a tyrant and tries to take the man for all he's worth. I remember back in the day, I used to be into like MTV and entertainment news and all that other nonsense. There was this girl, she was a model, and she was being featured on TV. She was fine as hell. Runway fashion model, good complexion, beautiful, nice. She was really young. I think she was like 18 at the time. Had that, what a lot of women, when they're young, have that optimistic, nice, the way they carry themselves is just like real cool and kind of submissive, but you can just tell she had that personality where she was just a good person to be around. And she met an industry mogul at the time, and he wifed her up. He was way older than her. And I remember him talking to her in her interview, and he was just telling the people, she's so beautiful, and such a nice person. She speaks 3 languages. She's really sophisticated for her age. And I remember you could see it in the woman. Like, you could tell that he picked a good one. So he married her, and some years passed, and there was another TV show that the couple was on, and she still, since he married her at 18, a couple years passed. I think she was 20 something at this point. Still beautiful, still nice. But then there was one time on TV where the couple was interacting with each other, and she tried to do a shit test, like live on TV. And the mogul guy, he had to check the girl and kind of like put her in her place. And I remember thinking right then, when that happened, that the relationship is not going to last forever. Something's going to happen, and they're going to get a divorce. But anyways, time passed, and I noticed that this woman, as time passed, she started to become more and more materialistic, and her attitude started to shift. She became more and more narcissistic. She had a couple of kids with the guy, and I remember thinking that her kids seemed kind of like an accessory to her own ego. And more time passed. And ultimately, she ended up divorcing the mogul guy. And what she got in alimony and child support was just nonsensical. It was basically every month she gets a small fortune from this guy. This guy helped her build a business. He basically did everything for this woman. but she turned around and used the kids as essentially a paycheck. And the guy didn't have a prenup or anything, and she just got, it was like one of the worst divorces of that year, I believe, as far as her getting so much money from this guy. And generally, that's what happens in a lot of relationships. The guy meets the girl, he thinks that she's perfect, she can do no wrong. Later on, the woman changes, becomes more narcissistic, more materialistic. And then the relationship implodes. And the thing is, I fell for it too. I remember seeing her when she was younger, and I was like, man, if I ever get a woman, that's the type of woman I want to get with. And I remember one of the mistakes that this mogul guy made. I remember he was doing an interview and he was talking about, man, I got game. You know, I have game. I've been with a lot of models. You know, I can spit game. I'm cool. I can get, you know, I can sleep with, I slept with a ton of models or whatever. But what this guy did not understand is there's a lot of women out there who will sleep with a millionaire just because he's a millionaire. It's bragging rights for them. So on the one hand, you're thinking you have so much game, but on the other hand, the girl's just sleeping with you because you're a millionaire. She can go back to her friends and say, hey, you know, I slept with this guy. He's a multimillionaire. He has a yacht. He has this and that. And the girl, her girlfriends will be jealous, or they'll give her props like, good job. You know, you're living that Sex in the City fantasy. But anyway, I digress. The reason why, as a man going your own way, MGTOW is important in this day and age is because as a MGTOW man, you're not easily fooled by a woman who appears to be nice, docile, submissive in the beginning of a relationship. You don't really go out of your way to date a woman like that because, you know, down the line, most likely she's going to change into someone that you don't recognize. The amount of men who married a beautiful, submissive woman and then in divorce court or when she decides to trash his car or destroy his life, he says that he doesn't even recognize the woman that he got with initially. The amount of men that say that is astronomical. So as a MGTOW man, you can go to that woman that she's young, she's submissive, she's docile. Have fun with her. And then go about your way as far as finding true success in your life. You are no longer addicted to a woman's beauty. You're no longer addicted to a woman's youth. You are instead focused on what you want to get out of life. So basically the point I'm trying to get across here is, as MGTOW, be careful of how women change over time. Do not be tricked, hoodwinked, bamboozled by a woman's beauty and submissiveness initially. It has been many a man's downfall later on. So that's just something I want to get off my chest. If you like this content, subscribe, give a thumbs up, and I'll talk to you later. This is the experience.